Welcome to 9 is a Magic Number in AL. Hey, I'm Eric, and 9 is a magic number. 9 has the ability to turn stuff that is, language and region dependent into being not language and region dependent, which is pretty convenient in a lot of cases. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So here is the standard app, and if we do something like this, and we want to show today's date, and we deploy that to our Business Central, we get in this case, date, month, year. And that's probably because my settings right now have me in, well, at least my settings are in Denmark. I might be a Dane living in Canada, but we can turn this back to English Canada. And now it's month, year, month, date. So flipped around, which is pretty cool by itself. That depending on the region, Business Central will make sure to format numbers and dates and times and date time fields correctly. So that is pretty convenient. But there might be cases where you just want this to be static. You want to use a format that is well defined, and you don't want your software to break if suddenly somebody decides to flip the language to something that other than what you tested your software on. So it really depends on where you're using this. Let me show you how we do that. So when date is substituted into the string here, there's actually implicit format command getting executed. So this this line is exactly the same as this. There's no difference. If we're passing a string, then it's just getting substituted. If we're passing a non-string, then format will be used to turn the whatever value you have into a string. But there are options, more parameters to format, and let's see if we can get that up here. So the first one is a length, and we can just specify 0, and then the string will get a length that is big enough to hold a value. But the second parameter, you see format number. Here we can add the magic number 9. And if we add the magic number 9, and let's run this, what we get is come on, Business Central, what we get is year 4 digits, month, day. So, and let's actually, just to prove my point here. So now we were in English Canada, so let's go to Croatia. And it's still the same. So by adding the 9, what we get is actually, so if you look at the Business Central documentation, it will be defined as the XML format. XML is based on an ISO standard. I cannot remember the ISO number. If you remember the ISO number, put it in the comments below. But this ISO standard defines how things should be formatted, including dates and times and date times and so on. So if we take this and then say, okay, instead of today's, let's do current date time, still with the 9, or we can get fancy and actually have 2 in here. How about that? So we get not current client type, current date time, and then the formatted one. Let's see how that looks. Now we are showing both of them. And what country did I select? Croatia. Clearly that's different, right? So here we have a date with dots, and a time without seconds, actually. That's also interesting. And then we have the ISO defined date. So let's say you're building a text file for a bank, or you're exchanging data with somebody else. You have the option to use the 9 and avoid all the trouble you might run into with this. So this is with dates. What we can do the same thing with let's say that I say 1 2 3. Let's do a bigger number, like that's a number. So if I do the same thing here, so now I do it with clearly with a decimal number. So in Croatia, we can see that the dot is the 1000 separator and the comma is the decimal separator, where in the international format there are no 1000 separator and the dot is the decimal separator. But we can actually take that and turn it around, because what if let's forget this one for a second here, and then create a couple of decimal variables there. Let's imagine that let's take those numbers again. So we can do if evaluate d and then what did we have? We had 123.456, 789, and I'm just encapsulating this into an if statement. So if this doesn't work, we just don't get anything. And let's make this one. We can do 1 2 3 comma something like that. We flip it around. Then let's message D and D2 here. I think that makes sense. Let's see it. So clearly those are two different ways of representing this. And now we are in, where were we? We were in Croatia, right? Yeah. So see, this one evaluated, the other one could not evaluate. That one failed because they had both the comma and the dot in. But in this case, where we have so comma is the decimal separator. So what happens if we do this? So now we get both of them evaluates, which is really, really dangerous, right? So this one evaluates correctly. This one is now thousands. What was the code? I forgot what we put in here. Well, it's actually millions, right? So that's dangerous. But what we can do is that we can also use the 9 here and say, hey, we want the international format, which was nothing, and then just the dot as decimal separator. So the magic number works both when we are creating data and when we are parsing data with the evaluate function. So I think that where I use this all the time, I think that's probably, Eric, give me a practical use case. When I have something where, I create a data export and a data import, I create two different jobs that are supposed to match, right? And if I do this with format and evaluate, and everything just works, right? No issues. because I'm running on the same machine with the same region and localization, but then one part of one component of these things go to Sweden and another one goes to Croatia, and then it doesn't work, or even worse, it almost works, and maybe it just add a factor of 1,000 to numbers or stuff like that, or potentially dates get flipped around, because today with 23, 7, and 5, I can make other valid dates, right? I can do the 23rd of May 2007, depending on whatever weird combination one country might have on how you're building the dates. But the magic number 9 will avoid all this confusion, and you always work in that international ISO format. So I think that's pretty cool. It's a magic number. If you need, if you're ready for more AL hacking, check out this video. It's a good one. I'll see you there. Take care. Bye.